serve as a Republican in the Georgia General Assembly. Representative Mainor joins me now. Welcome. I'm glad that you are here. I'm looking forward to hearing your insight and your views on this. And many people are wondering, why did you leave the Democratic Party?
I think you said it spot on. I'm just trying to represent District 56, the people of Atlanta, Georgia, and Fulton County. And as a former Democrat, it was quite difficult to get things done if you have groups of people continuously and relentlessly trying to stop every single move I did for my community. I could give you a plethora of examples, but along the way, I got things done anyway, really because of the help of my Republican counterparts. And I'm appreciative of them as well as my community.
There have been issues in terms of police funding and prosecutorial discretion, issues of school choice. I know that you have been at odds with many Democrats in the General Assembly. But one of the questions people have is if you feel as though the Democratic Party was not supportive of you and your colleagues not supportive of you, why choose to go Republican as opposed to, say, independent? I understand that as recently as last year, you said you would never switch parties. What changed to go Republican rather than independent?
So in Georgia, it's not really easy to be an independent. Last year, or at the last election, I got about 20,000 votes. To be independent, you have to get thousands of signatures to even be on the ballot. So it really is impractical to be an independent in Georgia.
Well, given that, does it sound like, are you truly a Republican now, or it was just politically expedient to be that now then, based on that?
So when I came into office, I came in as a Democrat. I've been a Democrat my entire life. That's all I knew. It wasn't until becoming a policymaker, actually looking at the policy, digging into the fine details, that many people said, okay, you're actually not a Democrat, you are a centrist or you are a moderate. As a layperson, had no idea that that was such a thing. And now I am still a moderate and still a centrist, but just on the Republican side.
When you're up for re-election, I believe, in 2024, and I do wonder what your constituents that you are representing must feel about it. I recognize it's not a monolith. I can't say what do all the people you represent actually believe about a particular issue, but I am curious as to how you intend to either seek re-election or what will be your stance, knowing that you have done quite a switch from the Democrats to Republicans.
So the beautiful thing about this, Laura, is I campaigned on public safety as a Democrat. I campaigned on parent choice, school choice as a Democrat. I campaigned on victim rights as a Democrat. Those are the things I fought for inside the Capitol. Those are the exact same things I'm going to fight for on the Republican ticket. I do plan on running again. And once the decision was made and it was announced, I immediately got a flood of text messages saying, I'm still going to support you, Representative Mainor. Phone calls, emails. I know that you've been seeing all of the hate emails and text messages online, but for every one of those hate emails I'm receiving hundreds of letters of support. Local media, they've been out in the community asking people, how do you feel about this? The responses are, I can't wait to see what she's going to do with it. So I plan on winning District 56. I've won it twice with multiple people in my race without a runoff. They voted for me. They did not vote for the alphabet next to my name.
That's interesting. I'm very saddened to hear as well about the death threats that you have been receiving. And I know that you have been focusing on the positive reactions you've gotten. Something you said strikes me as interesting from the perspective of the electorate. You didn't know there was such a thing as a centrist or a moderate. Could you not have been that as a Democrat, or was it the underlying policies that you no longer agree with and have only learned about while in office? Or is it really the bureaucratic process that was surprising?
I would not call it a process, first and foremost. I will say this, it's not about party. I am not expecting the Republican Party to be perfect. My Republican colleagues have said, welcome, Representative Mainor. Please know that we are not perfect. It really is a policy issue. So if you are against children being able to have a choice when 97% of the kids don't know how to read, that's a policy issue. If you want to defund the police, that's a policy issue. If you want to put prosecutors or systems above families that are seeking justice, that's a policy issue. So once my colleagues started putting up $1,000 checks on social media for anybody to run against me, I did some self-reflection. Self-reflection said, okay, why is this happening? It's a policy issue. Every single policy issue that is important to my community was a policy issue that the Republican Party was supporting. So it's not party, it's really policy. Who is supporting my community? Who is trying to uplift my community? I tell people, look around you. The schools are failing. We have high crime. There is not a Republican in office, so we can't blame Republicans. Democrats need to blame themselves for the problems in our community, and I'm just trying to make a difference, honestly.
It certainly is your choice and how you want to run, and your constituents' choice on who they want to lead. There's a Republican majority already in your assembly. This widens that particular gap. But final question, now that you are a Republican, the head of your party happens to be the former president, Donald Trump, at least in a de facto sense. Do you support his bid for the White House?
I would say Governor Brian Kemp is the head of our Republican Party. I'm in Georgia, and former President Donald Trump is not in office right now, so I'm going to have to disagree with you on that one.
Will you support him if he becomes the RNC nomination? Obviously, Georgia has been a very important state. Brian Kemp has been a key part of the importance of that, and it's been looked at for a number of reasons, including happens at the federal and congressional level. If he is the RNC nominee, will you support him as a Republican?
I would say that there are 12 candidates. I have been in office for 2 seconds as a Republican. I have not looked at any of the candidates extensively because I was a former Democrat, so I was looking at what is President Biden doing. So ask me again, invite me back in a few months if you want to ask that particular question.
It'll be the same one. Thank you for joining us today. Representative Mesha Mainor, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.